In the year 1096, something happened in Europe that, even by modern standards, sounds completely impossible. Tens of thousands of men left their homes in France, Germany, and Italy, and began walking toward a city most of them had never seen, could not point to on any map, and could barely even describe. They were heading to Jerusalem. There were no roads connecting kingdoms, no maps for common people, no compasses, no signs, and most of them could not read. Yet somehow they did not get lost. They crossed mountains, forests, rivers, foreign territories, and an entire continent, and thousands of them arrived at the same destination. The real miracle of the First Crusade was not only faith, it was logistics. And almost nobody today asks the most fascinating question of all: how did they know where to go? When people think about the Crusades, they imagine battles, knights, swords, and religious fervor. Historians debate why they went, what they believed, and what happened when they arrived. But very few stop to consider the practical side of something far more unbelievable. Europe in the 11th century was not a place where travel was simple. Most people never left the region where they were born. Many villages were separated by dense forests and dangerous roads. Communication between regions could take weeks or months. And yet, entire armies composed not only of trained knights, but also of peasants, families, and pilgrims managed to move in the same direction across thousands of kilometers with astonishing coordination. This was not luck, and it was not improvisation. What made this possible was something so deeply present in medieval life that we often forget how powerful it truly was: the network of the church. Long before the Crusades were ever called, Europe was already covered by an invisible web connecting churches, monasteries, abbeys, and bishoprics. These places were not only centers of prayer, they were centers of information, hospitality, storage, communication, and orientation. Every town had one. Every region was tied together through them. And for centuries, pilgrims had been using this network to travel safely across long distances to holy sites. The Crusaders did not walk across Europe following maps. They followed a chain of known holy places, from one monastery to the next, from one church to another, from one bishop's seat to the following. Each stop was already familiar to travelers, already prepared to receive strangers, already integrated into a system of trust and communication that stretched across the continent. Months before many of these men even left their homes, messages had already begun to travel through this network. Carried by clergy, monks, and messengers, instructions were passed from region to region. They will pass through here, prepare food, prepare shelter, give directions for the next route. What looks to us like a chaotic march of thousands of people was, in reality, a movement guided step by stone buildings that already existed. A medieval navigation system without paper maps, without drawn routes, without any technology. The path to Jerusalem was not a line drawn on parchment. It was a sequence of places that everyone recognized and trusted. The Crusaders did not need to know the way to Jerusalem. They only needed to know the way to the next church. Many monasteries along the way had food stored not only for their own communities, but for travelers and pilgrims, something that had been part of Christian practice for centuries. Shelter for strangers was expected. Guidance for travelers was normal. The Crusade did not create a new system. It used a structure that had been quietly functioning across Europe for generations. This is why thousands of people could move with a level of coordination that seems impossible for the time. They were walking through a continent already spiritually and logistically connected. Most of these men did not understand geography as we do today. They did not know distances in kilometers or directions on a compass, but they knew where the next church was, and that was enough. At each stop, they were told where to go next. Step by step, region by region, kingdom by kingdom, they advanced across Europe not because they understood the map of the world, but because they were inside a network that did. What seems today like an impossible journey without maps, roads, or navigation tools becomes understandable when we realize that the medieval church was the most organized institution on the continent. It was guiding not only the faith of millions, but also their movement, their communication, and their survival across vast distances. The First Crusade was not only a story of belief, it was also a story of an extraordinary logistical system hidden in plain sight. And crossing Europe was only the beginning. Because once these tens of thousands of people were on the road, another question becomes even more astonishing. How were 40,000 Crusaders fed during a 3,000-kilometer march?